We're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe with my new paddle here, I can play just as good as Dylan Frazier. Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 102nd Dinking Around.
Oh, yeah, episode number 102.
We passed 100, we passed 101, now we're at 102, and Webby, what paddle did you have there at the beginning?
I just got this yesterday. This is the V.2.1 F14mm from Volair Pickleball, and if I'm not mistaken, Dylan Frazier has been playing with this one lately, so I feel like this should up my game, and I'll be pretty much on the pro scene any day now.
I love it, man. Well, if you guys want to step up your game like Webby's trying to do here, go to Volair.com, use coupon code PB for life, get yourself a paddle, and save how much, Webby?
You're going to save yourself 10% off your order, but you're also going to show us some support in the process. So thank you for that.
Yes, we appreciate it. And guys, Volair is an incredible company. We love their paddles. We've been playing with them long before we partnered with them. Go there, check it out. Volair.com, coupon code PB for life. You will not be sorry.
Nope, you will definitely not be sorry, just like I hope I'm not sorry when I ask the question,
What in the world is in that drink? What you got in that drink?
Today I am going to be drinking another beer that I got while on a trip with my wife to Toronto, which is a place located in Canada, for those unaware. But this is one from Great Lakes Brewery, which is located in Ontario, and this is called Pompous Ass English Style Ale, and they have a pretty funny description here. It says, Pompous Ass is our version of an English Style Ale. We created this recipe adhering to time-honored English brewing methods and then flipped tradition the bird by substituting the ingredients with our own contemporary blend of hops and yeast to brighten up the flavor, ensuring that even the most pompous ale drinker, like Sir Fuggled Doublebottom, does a double take.
That's cool. I like that can.
The artwork on the can and then that description definitely sold me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this beer a try. So that is what I will be sipping on today. It's got this nice dark amber color to it. But what are you going to be sipping on today, Eddie?
Well, Webby, I haven't replenished any of the beers in my fridge, so I once again will be drinking a beer that I love, the Mosaic Grouper Hazy IPA from our friends over at Fort Myers Brewing Company. I'm loving it. I only got a few left in the fridge, so I might need to stock up before I start heading up north in the motorhome. But cheers, my friend.
Cheers, and cheers to everybody tuning in. Please let us know what you are drinking down in the comments below.
That's right. Webby, I saw that. That's from Great Lakes Brewery. Isn't there a Great Lakes Brewing Company out of the Cleveland area?
There is, yep. I had to do a double take at first. I was like, wait a second, did they use the same name? But yeah, one says brewery, the other says brewing. So I guess that's enough of a difference.
Well, Toronto is on a Great Lake, so I guess it would make sense.
But it always cracked me up because Michigan is the Great Lakes state. So I always thought Great Lakes Brewing was a Michigan company, but nope.
Nope. There's other states and countries around the Great Lakes. Well, only one other country, but yeah, other states.
That is true. Good geography lesson here today.
Webby, it sounds like you might have a shout out for us in addition to some incredible geography.
I do. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Cy. He and I recently teamed up for a men's doubles tournament at Toledo Pickle Company in Toledo, Ohio. And we signed up for the advanced division, which was pretty much 4-0 and above. I really don't have much business being in a tournament that's 4-0 and above, but we decided to take a chance. And it was definitely tough, but I feel like we played very well. It's actually some of the best we have played together. He and I have done numerous tournaments in the past. It's been about a year since the last time we teamed up. But there is a video that is now on the Eddie and Webby YouTube channel, so you guys should check it out. There was a lot of great highlights. We had the longest rally I have ever been a part of in a pickleball tournament happen during that tournament. There was also one game where we won the game with a game ender with an ATP that Cy got, so that was pretty awesome. So lots of great highlights, also some good awkward moments between Cy and I, so it's got everything.
Gotta love those awkward moments.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen the video yet, make sure you check it out.
That's right. Check it out. Wire oot in the boot. But Webby, I got to tell you, I'm getting a phone call right now. Hello? Oh, they said it's time.
Now it's time for Memes of the Week. Yeah!
That's right, Memes of the Week, my absolute favorite segment that we do, and it is the hottest segment in all of pickleball podcasting. So, Eddie, what kind of memes you got for us this week?
Webby, Memes of Pickleball has done it again. And this time, it's not only a good meme, but it's also pretty incredible how they time this up. And, well, I'm just going to throw it up there. This one is when the simulation starts to glitch.
Jack Sock, a heavy serve, earns a short return. Nice silky drop. Oh my!
Wow.
That's insane. That's incredible, right? Like for him to basically do the exact same thing, set up the exact same return he's looking for, and basically run around his backhand to hit a forehand ATP on the fifth shot is unbelievable.
Yeah, that was awesome. Very well done.
I love that. That's so cool. Great job, Memes of Pickleball, for putting that together too, because getting that all synced up and stuff, like, it's impressive, man. Very impressive.
Yeah, great stuff there. I love it.
So, Webby, that's what I had this week. What about you? What do you got for us from a meme perspective?
Well, this comes from an account that I actually just found today. So this is a first for the show. This is from Pickleball Junkie 213 on Instagram, and we actually have a few that I want to show from them. The first one is when they say they played pickleball without you. I have experienced that before, where there was a group that like we had been in talks about playing on a certain day, and then I never got a call, never got a text, and then I see them the following day, and then they talk about how they played the previous day, but nobody told me.
Jerks. You just want to smash their head with a freaking glass from a bar, right?
Mm-hmm. I can totally understand why he did that in that video.
Yep, for show.
But here is another one from Pickleball Junkie 213, and this says, POV, my body after the first day back at pickleball in a while.
Oh my God. Webby, that is so relatable. Literally the other night, my wife and I just went and hit at these courts here at the motorhome resort we're staying at. And we played for, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes or so. And the next day, I was sore. Now, granted, it had been a long time since I played, just like in this meme here, but I could feel it a lot.
Yeah, I can definitely relate, because it's wild, because I can play like numerous times a week for 2 or 3 weeks straight. My body feels totally fine for the most part, but if I skip a few weeks, that first time I play, the next morning, even the second morning after that, I just feel horrible. My body is stiff. It's achy. It's crazy how quickly the body just kind of goes back to not being used to all that movement and stuff.
For sure. Yeah, I totally agree.
And then here's one more from Pickleball Junkie 213, and this is when you're playing doubles pickleball and your partner just can't get it together.
This is the worst!
Yep.
I can relate, but I feel like my partners probably relate to that more when they play with me, but whatever.
This is the worst.
But there are times like I'll go to open play and I get stuck with the person that like is very new to pickleball, and we're playing against 2 seasoned players, and then everything that gets hit to my partner, they like whiff or hit it into the net or hit it out of bounds, and they just can't keep a rally going, and that's exactly how I feel right there.
Yep.
This is the worst.
I agree. Or somebody that just doesn't play the style you play and gets you beat up a lot. That is also the worst.
Yeah. Not very fun, but it happens, and I feel like all of us can relate. If we feel like we can't relate, then you're probably the problem.
Yeah, we're the problem, man. Yeah, if that doesn't happen to you, then you're the partner that your partner is saying that's the worst about.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Oh, great memes, Webby. Hope you guys enjoyed this Memes of the Week segment. Guys, if you have a meme that you want us to be able to review, go ahead and throw it down in the comments below. We'll take a look at it. I prefer for it to be pickleball related, but even if it's not, if it's something good, just throw it down there in the comments and we'll take a look-see.
Yes, we definitely will. But does everybody know what time it is?
Now it's time for Topics of the Week.
That's right. It's Topics of the Week, guys. You know what we do here. I don't have to keep explaining it. We pick a topic, we talk about it. It's pretty much it. Doesn't require much more thought than that. Webby, what topic do you have for us this week?
Well, this is a very fun one. I actually got a chance to interview somebody, and I do have a couple questions for you, Eddie. Do you like pickleball?
Yes.
Do you like really fun events?
Yes.
Then I think you are going to get a kick out of this interview because this is somebody who is the event director for a really cool pickleball event called PickleCon. So without further ado, let's get to it. Thanks, Eddie and Webby. Today we are joined by somebody who is going to tell us all about this really cool event that is coming up. Please welcome to the show the pickleball director of PickleCon, Alyssa Morrison. How's it going, Alyssa?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much for joining us here. I've been seeing a lot on social media about this event, so I'm excited to learn a lot more about it.
Yeah, no, likewise. Thanks for having me on.
How would you describe what PickleCon is?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's really like a pickleball paradise. It is all things pickleball under one roof for 4 days. So
Nice.
it's a convention combined with all the play of tournaments, clinics, and open play. So we really just try to provide something for everyone.
Nice. That sounds awesome. I'm already sold. I've never been to one, but I'm sold just on that description alone. That sounds very cool. So is this the first one, or has there been numerous events before?
Yeah, so this is year two.
Okay.
Last year was our first year. The concept has been kind of decided since 2018. We started researching pickleball as a sport in 2018 as a company. COVID kind of lulled what we're doing and re-researched it after that. And so has really developed after listening to the market and what's needed and what people want. And so that's where PickleCon grew. And last August was our first event. So this is our second year.
Very cool. So surprisingly, up until last year, I had never been to a convention of any sort, and that probably surprises people because I'm a big nerd when it comes to pop culture and comic books and horror movies and stuff like that. So last year, I went to my first ever Motor City Comic Con, and I had an absolute blast. I definitely want to start doing more conventions in the future. And as soon as I saw posts about PickleCon, I was like, oh man, a convention for pickleball? This sounds amazing. So I'm definitely excited about it. I'm hoping I get a chance to go there. And remind me, where exactly is it located?
Yeah, so it's in the Kansas City Convention Center, downtown Kansas City, August 7th
Okay.
through 10th.
So you talked about how there's going to be tournaments and all that kind of stuff going on. So is it like a full-blown tournament to where like pretty much all different skill levels, or what kind of a tournament experience can people expect there?
Yeah, so we multiple tournaments going on. So there's the amateur tournament, which does have all skill levels, all age divisions. That'll be Thursday through Saturday. Minor league pickleball will be on site doing their team format on Sunday. A high school event on Friday. National Junior Pickleball with the junior side will be there Saturday and Sunday. Glow in the dark pickleball. So we have a tournament on Saturday and some open play Thursday and Friday evening. And then a couple like charity events, military adaptive court sports and chicken pickle will be on site doing adaptive and wheelchair play. So we'll have those divisions offered as well. And then just a lot of random small open play tournaments, jump in, have fun, just exciting stuff going on.
Nice, very cool. And I think I saw something about some pickleball celebrities at some point throughout the event. What kind of celebrities can we expect?
Yeah, so Celebrity Pickleball Bash will be on site this year, running on Friday evening, and they're bringing so far Terrell Owens and Tyler Hansbrough.
Nice.
So they'll announce a few more here in the next couple weeks, but we'll have a few of those celebrities, and then we'll have some of ours. Nicole Mendez, former softball player, will be there. Brad Penny, former MLB, a few other ex-pro athletes will be walking around doing some stuff with us as well.
Very cool. And I was checking out your website and I saw that Joey Farias is involved in some capacity. And Joey is a longtime friend of ours. We've known him pretty much since we first got into pickleball. And he's been on the podcast numerous times over the years. We did a Webby versus everybody episode. We did a 2 versus 1 episode against him. So we're very familiar and big fans of Joey Farias. What kind of role does he have with this event?
Yeah, so I've known him pretty much since I got into pickleball as well in 2018. We met him at a tournament. And so he's kind of been consulting with us, help us on the pro side, help us understand the market a little bit, the sport, the industry, what's needed, what's missing in it, and what to do. And then he contracts our pros and runs all of our clinics. So any clinics that are going, he gets all the pros to be on site to run those.
Joey's a very fun guy. He's been in the sport for a long time. And I feel like I would put a lot of trust into people that have been involved in pickleball since before COVID, because I feel like everybody jumped on the bandwagon after COVID. So those of us that have been involved before COVID, I feel like we have almost a better appreciation for how far the sport has come, because back then, back in 2018, hardly anybody knew what pickleball was, and I felt like it was like pulling teeth trying to talk people into playing pickleball with me and stuff like that. It's a totally different story now.
Yes, I call it pre and post COVID. I had two very different research experiences. And yeah, I would have to explain what pickleball was for the first 2 years of talking about it. And then now everyone's like, wait, you're in pickleball? And I'm like, yes.
Nice. It's funny because a lot of people that I tried to talk into playing pickleball before COVID, they just didn't want to have anything to do with it. And now that it's trendy, a lot of them are playing pickleball now. So when I see them, I'm like, hey, remember I was trying to get you to play this like 6 years ago? What made you all of a sudden want to play? And I usually make fun of them. I say, what, did the Kardashians talk you into it? Or did the celebrities, did they all talk you into playing or something?
Yeah, you weren't cool enough to convince them.
Yeah. Speaking of the Kardashians, though, I don't want to make fun of them too much because they were actually into it before the COVID boom. Because I remember, I never really watched their show too much, but when I found out that they talked about pickleball during their show, I was sharing it all over the place. I was like, see, look, the Kardashians think it's cool.
You're like, I know what I'm talking about now.
Right, exactly.
That's great.
So you said you've been involved in pickleball since 2018. That's a year after I got into it. So we got into it right around the same time. Do you have any kind of a fun story about like what first drew you in, or how you first heard of it and how you first played it for the first time?
Yeah, so mine is a little different, right? So mine was business related. So I'm an analyst at Triple Crown Sports. We've been around for over 40 years, run sporting events across the country. And so I was researching multiple sports as like the new division for Triple Crown, and pickleball was one of those.
Oh,
And
nice.
so that was my introduction. Was I did a lot of research, and then I started going to events and seeing it. And then once I started seeing the sport, I was like, this fits what we do. I think this would be a good fit. I got our COO involved. We started just figuring out what that business model could look like. Obviously, Joey, we started committees, like talked to the market of what people liked, what was missing, all of that. And so it was really more the business side that got me into it. Our CEO, Kerry King, he had the intuitive foresight to start researching it back then, kind of before the boom of everything. And so it was him that brought it up. And then yeah, so obviously after learning about it, whatever, we went out and played a few times. So mine was business first, and then started playing it a little bit.
Gotcha. All right. That makes sense. So were you the director for last year's event also, or is this your first time as the pickleball director?
Yeah, so we did have someone hired in 2019. We were planning on getting into pickleball for an event in 2020. Obviously, COVID hit, being an events company, we kind of set that aside, took a few years, and then I became the pickleball director in 2022, I would say, when we're like, okay, we're going to get into this. And so I've been the pickleball director since then.
Gotcha. So how have things changed, or have you seen like a lot of growth or more activity as far as interest in this event from the first event compared to this year's event?
Yeah, like so it's interesting. A lot of people know our Triple Crown brand for our other sports, youth baseball, softball, volleyball, some college events. Coming into pickleball, we're a new brand, right? So it's just getting the brand out there, getting people to learn and understand what Triple Crown does and how unique our events are. And so that's been the biggest thing of getting it out there. So year one is always going to be tough. So
Yeah.
now we have a little bit more momentum going into people know it. It's easier to sell an event that you've seen. And so now that more people have seen it, came to year one, they're like, now they're talking about, they're like, that was great. And so now they're telling, now it's that word of mouth. And obviously, we're in it for the growth of pickleball, right? And so the bigger pickleball is getting, the more, like you said, celebrities are getting into it, the more pros, excitement, all the social media. That just helps everyone because a lot of those events are at our event, and that's our goal is to bring everyone together in one place. So it's been cool seeing the dynamics of the industry and how it's growing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm assuming there's a lot of work that goes into being the director for a big event like this. Are there any challenges or anything that you would want to talk about that goes into this, or just like what are the most difficult things that you have to do as a director to prepare for such a big event like this?
Yeah. Last year, it was really just like a lot of the marketing, getting the brand out, and it's a very unique event. Like it's not like any other event within pickleball or really any space. And so people just you can't understand or grasp what it is until you actually see it. And so that's the hardest thing is trying to sell a product and tell the story and explain what it is without seeing it. So before you won, we didn't have any pictures of what it is. So we had pictures of some of our other events, like, hey, this is our volleyball event. So it'll courts will look similar to this, but then we'll have 20 times the amount of the vendor area. And so trying to explain. So now it's a little easier when we have some video and stuff like that. But and then now the biggest thing is pickleball is such a last minute sport. Like it's still very immature and it's like the sport business industry. So it's getting people on board and being able to schedule. And I'm a little OCD and type A, so I like getting things done early. And it can't always like be that way, but it's fun and it ends up being a great event. And we have a lot of people involved in it. So it's hard getting everyone on the same page, but it's always worth it.
I don't know about you guys. I definitely think this sounds like an awesome event. Sounds like it's going to be an absolute blast. Now, before we part ways, I know you just touched on a few of the things that are going to be going on during the convention. Are there any other activities that you want to bring up before we part ways here?
Yeah, we have a whole like list of activities going on. Like I said, the tournaments, the clinics, open play. So we have 72 courts. So if you don't get enough play in, that's your fault. Like there are plenty of playing opportunities. But we also have all the vendors with demo courts. You can try out anything. We have panel discussions going on, a club breakout session in one of the rooms. Like I said, Celebrity Pickleball Bash will be on site. Odyssey Radio Network with some of their personalities from the KC area will be on site, duking it out. Puppy yoga on one of the courts one days. Like I mentioned, the glow in the dark. That'll be part of our kickoff party. We have entertainment tour buses. So those will pick you up and drop you off at the convention center, take you to local chicken and pickles and char bar and serve where you can eat, play some pickleball, drink, come back. So really it's just our goal is to provide something for everyone. So if you bring a group of friends, you can go compete and have fun while someone else can just go play open play and do some clinics and go on to vendors. So really something for everyone over 4 days.
Nice. I already thought it sounded awesome. Now with everything you listed, it sounds even more awesome. This is going to be such a cool event. I hope I get a chance to make my way down there because it sounds incredible. And you mentioned puppy yoga. I've done goat yoga before. Puppy yoga sounds way better than goat yoga. I actually got kind of injured doing goat yoga before.
I told them to bring just enough puppies to where if like one goes missing for the hour they're doing it, then they won't notice. Like I'll give them back, but
Right.
I just might be hanging out with one.
Oh man, I feel like that's all I got to do is mention the puppy yoga to my wife, and we are definitely going to be making it there because that'll win her over because she's not as big of a pickleball nut as the rest of us, but I think puppy yoga could sell her.
We'd love to have you guys.
Nice. And my wife and I, we've done goat yoga before, and some of the goats I think were a little too big for climbing on people because they kind of scratched my back up really bad. And it was right before I did a pickleball tournament too. Like I did goat yoga in the morning, and then I went to the tournament and my back was just all scratched up real bad and stuff like that. So yeah, puppy yoga sounds a lot nicer than goat yoga to me.
Hopefully they're a little more gentle.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thank you very much for joining us. This is awesome. What is the best way for people to find out how to get tickets or when exactly and where exactly this event is?
Yeah, so the best place is probably just our website, picklecon.com, any of our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram as well. But really, all the information, all of our schedules are up, a full layout of the 72 courts, where all the vendors will be at. All of that is up on our website right now.
Very nice. Well, thank you very much for joining us here today, everybody. Make sure you go check it out. PickleCon sounds like it's going to be an absolutely awesome time. But back to you, Eddie and Webby.
Webby, I got to tell you, man, I'm excited for whoever gets to go to PickleCon. It sounds like an incredible event, and I'm bummed that I'm not going to be available to go because I think it would just be pretty freaking awesome to be a part of that.
Yeah, I know that you're going to be busy traveling in your camper. I still don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, but I am going to see if I can work something out because, man, it sounds like such a good time. I mean, who doesn't love puppy yoga in addition to all these pickleball events going on? I mean, it sounds like a super fun, incredible time. So I hope I get a chance to make it. If not, if anybody out there does get a chance to make it, you're going to have a blast.
Yeah, and if you guys go to it, let us know down in the comments below what you think about it because it's cool that pickleball is getting to the size to where there would be enough demand for a convention like this.
Yeah, and I love the fact that the people involved in this, they were involved in pickleball before COVID, and they were trying to get this in the works, and then things got sidelined because of COVID. But I feel like the fact that pickleball has just exploded so much over the past few years that's probably a good thing for them to where the event is able to be bigger than they had originally planned. So, yeah, I think it's going to be awesome, and can't wait to see how it goes.
That's good. And speaking of people that were involved in pickleball before COVID, let's talk about our friends over at Jigsaw Health. I got to tell you guys, Jigsaw Health has some incredible products that I take on a daily basis. They also have products that focus on hydration. Webby, how do you like to stay hydrated?
Well, what I like to do when I go play pickleball, I like to mix a packet of Fruit Punch Electrolyte Supreme into my bottle of water. I will drink that when I'm playing pickleball, and then if I get super hot and sweaty, which is almost a guarantee, then I drink another when I'm done playing pickleball, and I have not had any dehydration issues whatsoever ever since I started taking that approach.
Seriously, guys, Jigsaw Health is an incredible company, like I mentioned. They're obsessed with pickleball, so much so that they built their own indoor venue, so much so that they started a professional league, the Arizona Pickleball League, so much so that they created a documentary available on Prime Video called Breaking Pickleball, which might have some cameos from these two handsome gentlemen on your screen in front of you right now. You got to go support Jigsaw Health and get yourself some products that are going to make you feel good because at Jigsaw Health, it's fun to feel good. And if you go to jigsawhealth.com and you use coupon code PB4Life10, you're going to get what, Webby?
You're going to get yourself 10% off your order, and you'll show us some support in the process.
That's right, jigsawhealth.com, coupon code PB4Life10. You're going to love what you get from them.
You are. But that was my topic of the week. What about you, Eddie? What do you got?
Webby, I want to have a little conversation about rules. And a little different than what you're thinking. I know last week you interviewed Mike Baumgartner and the new podcast that him and Bob Swisshelm are putting on where they're going to talk about rules and all the referee stuff. But I'm not talking about rules from interpretation of the rules, applying the rules, or the current rules of pickleball. I want to talk about, are there some rules that we should consider experimenting with? And what would the impact be? Could it improve the game? Could it not? Let's talk about that. And the first thing I want to talk about is, you know how in tennis, the width of the court is different between singles and doubles?
Yes.
Do you think that potentially looking at making a more narrow court for singles could change singles, make it more appealing, make it something that even people that aren't as mobile or athletic could enjoy? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's interesting. I do think it would make it more appealing because it would make it easier to play than it currently is covering the entire court. Man, do I think that should happen, though? Because I feel like younger, really athletic people don't have a problem covering the court. But I do think it could help make the rallies last a little longer, which could make the matches more entertaining. Because sometimes singles, it's very quick. It almost resembles tennis because the points are over very quick. If you have a killer serve or if your return is good enough with enough speed and spin, I mean, that point could be over almost immediately. So on one hand, I do like the idea of making the court a little smaller to make the points last longer, make it more entertaining rallies and stuff like that. But on the other hand, if the rallies are longer, that's going to be a lot more tiring for the players. And I feel like that's one of the most unappealing parts of singles pickleball is how tiring it is. So, man, I don't know. That's a good one. I can see pros and cons to doing that. What are your thoughts? Like, do you think it would be better to do something like that?
I don't know. I think in some ways it could. I think, again, it's going to make it more accessible for a lot of people who might be a little intimidated or just don't have the athleticism or the stamina or the body to do it anymore. And I think it could encourage them too. I don't think it should be small enough to where it's played like skinny singles, which is more like doubles than singles, right?
Yeah.
I think it should be wide enough to where it's still a similar strategy to what you're doing with singles. I just think that maybe it could make it a little bit easier of a barrier to entry for some people, as you mentioned, lead to longer rallies. And I'm not sure. Maybe this is something that you have a different rule for amateurs as you do for pros, where pros can stay with their full court. But amateurs, if we wanted to make singles, maybe, I don't know, 8 feet less wide. I'm not really sure what the right number is, but I think it could change things. So much so that I think it'd be fun to actually experiment with and see, does it alter things? Does it make it more enjoyable? I don't know. I think it could be kind of cool. But guys out there, let us know what you think.
Yeah, I would definitely love to experiment with it. I feel like I'd be able to give a better opinion once I try it if I think it's too different from the current full court singles. I mean, I think I would enjoy it because less running sounds more appealing to me. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I would like to try that sometime and see how it goes.
Yeah, be interesting. The next rule I want to talk about is the net. So right now we see a lot of ATPs, both on the professional and the amateur level. And then we also see a lot of returns of ATPs. Back in the day, once you got an ATP, you were about 90% certain that you were going to win that point, right? But it changed.
Yeah.
A lot of the pros learned how to defend it. That bled down into the amateurs. But what if we took that away? What if we made the nets wider to the point where the ATP was no longer a part of the game? Some could argue that it would make it more interesting because it is kind of weird that you can just hit the ball around the net. You don't have to go over it. But at the same point, I think ATPs are exciting. I think it adds another element to the game. So I don't know. What are your thoughts about that?
So that is something I would not be a big fan of because I have played at places where basically they use a tennis net and doing an ATP is not even possible. And because like the way that the court is, like they have the whole entire tennis net going across and then you use some straps to make the net go a little lower to meet the size requirement for a pickleball court. But the width of the net, you can't do anything about. So when I play at certain places like that, you cannot hit an ATP and it's not an option. I don't like it. I think it's way more fun having the option to hit the ATP. Like you said, though, like things have definitely changed. A lot more people hit ATPs and a lot more people are able to defend them. But to me, that's a good thing. Like to me, it makes it more fun and entertaining. There's nothing feels better than when your opponent hits a successful ATP, but you defend that ATP and keep the point going. I think that is super fun, and I would hate to see that go.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think we should keep the net the way it is. I like ATPs. I think it's part of the game, and I think it would be to the detriment of pickleball to widen it. Let's talk about something else, though. What about the kitchen line? So right now, 7 feet away from the net is the kitchen line, right?
Mm-hmm.
That has been there since the beginning of pickleball when people were playing with wooden paddles. Now we have these incredibly hot paddles. The balls are flying off them at incredible speeds. And pretty much to be able to survive in any sort of advanced level play, you have to have incredibly quick hands and incredibly quick maneuvers to get out of the way of the ball. There's a lot, block volleys. There's a ton of different things that you have to be prepared for now because of it. Well, what if we moved it back a foot, maybe 2 foot on either end? Would that change things? Would that mitigate a lot of the risks also that we're having with super hot paddles where people are, worried about becoming injured from getting hit by the ball? Could it make it to where rallies were a little bit longer? I don't know. What do you think?
I do think it would help mitigate the injuries and the issues that happen there with the fast hands and the hot paddles when people are all at the kitchen line. But if it was like a foot or two back, I feel like that could impact the soft game in a negative way, because then it would be a little harder to keep the dink rallies going, especially if somebody hits like a very, very shallow dink. Then you got to be, that's a foot or two extra that you have to take to get towards the net to try to save that ball and keep it in play. And then that's extra time to get back beyond the kitchen line. So I just don't know if it would be worth changing it that much, because it would impact the soft game negatively. I hope that the sport eventually gets to a point where either the paddle technology or the ball technology, like we've talked about in the past, gets altered to where it's not as fast of a game as it currently is. Because I do think eventually it's going to work itself out and things will get under control a little better than they are now in regards to the hot paddles and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think I would be all for changing the distance of the kitchen line.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think that you'd be trading off, being able to stay in hands battles a little bit longer by also giving up more of, your coverage, right? The more you're away from the net, if there's a dribbler, it's a little bit harder to get to. It's pretty much an extra step that you need to be able to take. It would change the way that you dink, because now you know that you have a lot more room where, because the person has to stay behind the line, you have tons more area to be able to dink into. So yeah, I think that the downsides of that would be greater than the upsides of it. But I would be curious. I would actually think it would be great to be able to do another experiment with this. Play people that are evenly matched where they both get pushed back, and then maybe even take some people that are higher level than you and make them get pushed back a foot or two, and your kitchen line stays the same. Does it equalize? Does it make it, a little bit easier to be able to keep a good match going? I don't know. I think it's important though that we ask these questions, because that could be something very cool.
Yeah, that would be interesting. It'd be fun to do a video where we do these kind of tests, like make some new boundary lines that are smaller for the thing that you talked about earlier about making it smaller for singles, and then also change the dimensions of the kitchen area. That could be very interesting. Could make for some fun content.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Last rule change I want to bring up here. This is a stretch, Webby. This is a crazy one that I'm going to throw out there. But in different sports, you get a different amount of points based on different actions that you take. So in basketball, free throws are worth 1, baskets are worth 2, and anything outside of the 3-point line are worth 3 points, right? So the further away you go, the more challenging the shot is, the more points you can get. Football, same thing, right? Field goals versus touchdowns. Is there a way that we could introduce that into pickleball? Like, for example, ATP winners, maybe that's 2 points. Body bags, maybe that's 2 points. Or maybe if you get body bagged, you lose a point in addition to your opponent getting a point. So there are some things that I think would be kind of fun to be able to experiment with there. What do you think about that?
I do actually think that would be fun to implement something like that. I don't know if I would want that to be a permanent thing that gets changed on the sport, but I do think that would be a fun alternate type of game to play. Another thing I thought would be kind of fun sometime is if you ever made it like volleyball rules to where you're allowed to kind of set your partner up, you tip the ball up and then they can smash it or something like that. That would be pretty interesting. I'm sure that could lead to a lot more body bags if that happens too. But I do think something like that would be fun to play around with and make some hybrid rules and stuff like that to where some stuff is worth 2 points.
What other rules would you want to change around the point structure?
Yeah, I would say a tweener. If you hit a tweener, that should be worth at least 2 points.
If you hit it, or if you get a winner?
Oh, if you get a winner, yeah. If you hit a winner with a tweener, yeah, it's got to be a winner. That would be awesome. I almost think that could be worth 3 points. If you do a successful tweener that wins the point, that could be a 3-pointer.
I don't know. All of you guys tuning in, let us know down in the comments below. What are some rules that you think would be kind of fun to experiment with? I think this was a good conversation, and ultimately, I think I would consider both of us, Webby, to be pickleball purists, right? We're old school. We like things the way that they are. We thought they were there for a reason. But if the sport's going to grow, we're going to have to ask those questions around what are some ways that we can make it more interesting, right? We experimented with rally scoring, didn't seem to stick for Major League Pickleball. So I don't know. Could there be some other things that we can experiment with that's going to make it more exciting, make it more televisable without ruining the entire intent and spirit of pickleball? I'm all for experimenting. I think it'd be fun to be able to check it out. But let us know down in the comments below, guys. What are some rules that you would like to see experimented with, or potentially you've done it yourself and has made pickleball a more enjoyable sport? We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, that was a great topic. I thought that was very fun. Something else I always thought would be cool is to do like certain like special alternative tournaments where like everybody has to use the same wooden paddle. Or Wolverine has done this in the past. They did the Dink battle tournaments where the kitchen was the only playable area. Anything beyond the kitchen was out of bounds. However, if you did a body bag, that was worth a point. So like that could go beyond the kitchen and hit them. And then also you and I dabbled with this in the past where if we hit an ATP, no matter where it hits, it would still count. So yeah, I think it would be fun to have some alternate rule type games here and there, have some events or tournaments where you go into it, you sign up for it knowing it's going to be different than your traditional tournament. So I think stuff like that would be really fun.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Guys, if you have a club that does a certain type of special event with different rules, also let us know down in the comments below. We'd love to hear about that. Webby, I got to tell you, man, this has been a very, very fun episode, but I got to know your
closing thoughts.
So what did we learn today? Well, we learned that we have definitive proof that we are living in a simulation. We also learned what happens to your body if you play pickleball for the first time after taking a break. We learned that pickleball has taken off so much that there is now a convention devoted to pickleball. And we also learned that it could be pretty fun to change up some of the current pickleball rules. But I thought this was a very fun episode 102 of Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby.
That's right, guys. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please consider doing that. If you like this video, please like it. We really appreciate it. It feels so slimy asking for this, but it keeps it going and it gets our content out there to more and more people. And we appreciate it. We also enjoy having conversations down in the comments. So throw some comments down there. Let's talk. Let's chat. Let's mix it up down in the comments section. It's always fun.
Yes, very much so. We appreciate all the feedback we can get and all the interaction.
That's right. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
So yeah.
Well, we're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh, yeah.